welcome to another episode of Talk Right with Cast. Today we have with us Lijo, a very good friend of mine.
Yep.
And Lijo runs a digital marketing agency. So basically, during having a one-to-one, Lijo came up with a lot of questions related to IP, which I felt are very relevant to all the business owners who are looking for IP. So I thought, why not invite Lijo?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Maruk. So it starts with as simple as IP. There's so much of confusion. It's quite overwhelming, right, for any business owner. For me to think like what should be the next step, is it necessary? But let's have a structured approach to this. My first question that has like, what are the first few steps? Like I have got this thing that okay, I need to register my. I know there are benefits legally of registering my brand. It safeguards me from any kind of issues that could come. I've had I saw a small anecdote on that note where a brand as big as Pepsi, when I was working back in India, launched a biscuit brand and they called it Alive Biscuits. 1 week before the launch, they realized that it's been trademarked by a cleaning company, right? And they had to rebrand and this lost. So I completely understand. So what are the first steps that I should start with?
See, the very first thing after realizing that, okay, now this is the point, I need my IP to get registered. So the very first thing for you to do is the research.
Right.
Do the market research.
Right.
Check about the market, your competitors, what actually is registered already. So once you weigh your IP against what is already registered, you come to know that whether it is unique enough to get registered or not.
Okay.
If it is already registered, if it is already in the market, then there is no point to going forward with the same IP.
Okay.
So at this point, you will level up your game. All right.
Okay.
You will innovate. If it is already there, then you have to innovate. You have to change your strategy and course of action.
Right.
So very first step is the market research.
So do I have to do it myself and come to an agency, or does the agency does it also on the individual's
See,
behalf?
what I prefer is that always involve an expert.
Right.
Take a professional advice, and with them you can do the market research. They
Right.
can do it for you. There are some official means to conduct these researches. So this is how you should start.
So on the first step, so another question that comes to me, like, what is the kind of timeline I should expect this entire thing to work for? Like,
All right. See, this is a very good question. Actually, this is the first question everyone asks me.
Okay, so
What
yeah.
is the timeline? See, it cannot be done overnight.
Okay.
So, and there are different types of IPs. So, different IPs have different timelines in different countries. So, if we talk about trademark registrations, they may take several months to complete, whereas patents can go up to years
Wow.
as well.
Interesting. So so I run a digital marketing agency, right? One of the first thing that comes to me is that is IP as an universal property, or patent as universal property, or is there different classes of IP for each of the different businesses that's there?
All right. See, for that, I'll say, trademark, if you are registering your trademark for your digital marketing agency, we'll say, then there are 45 classes.
Wow.
Okay. Depends which category your IP fits best. If you take the professional advice, the expert will guide you through it. They will talk you through it. They'll understand what are your activities. And depending on that, they will suggest the class to you.
Right.
There are some classes for the products. There are some classes for the services. So depending on your activity and your nature of work, whichever category you are falling into, they will suggest you that class.
Okay. So the big question, like every proposal, at the end of the proposal, a lot of clients just go to the end of the proposal. What is the cost, right? So how does a business owner think? Like, how do I break down the cost in my head? Like, I understand this; it's time-consuming thing. It can take 2 months, sometimes years, depending if it's a patent. I understand that it's a little more complicated research depending on the industry that's there. So how do I, in my head, break down the cost part of it?
See, again, I would say there are different types of IPs. So all the IPs have different costing And again, it depends on in which country you are looking to get it registered. They also have their different cost. While trademarks you can get like with from several, you are looking at several thousands. Okay, few thousands, you will say. Few thousands for the trademark, while for the patent, it can go up to few thousands to tens of thousands. Whereas copyright is quite affordable. Timeline is also short, and within few hundreds, you can do your copyright.
Right. As say that everybody wants to get it done free of cost. So is there some place where there are some free resources for them to get their heads around?
Many actually. See, online you can find many authentic resources, and very easy thing is that go to the government websites which offer
For example?
for example, the MOEC website.
Okay.
If we are here in UAE, you can check there. It has all the basic information, even the step-by-step guidance that how you will register your IP. And if you really want to equip yourself with this knowledge, there are a lot of countries and there are websites which offer very low cost to free webinars and workshops and all those things. So there are plenty of things you can go for.
Yeah. Okay. So now it's quite, it may sound very overwhelming, right? So like websites, where do I start even? And it's kind of very technical legal sphere, right? So any tips that you have for business owners into how to approach? There are free resources, there are agencies, costing, classes. Like if I just break it down, like what are the few, like 3-4 tips that you will give them to get started, or what should they be considering?
Okay, see, the very first thing is that, as I said, do the research. Okay, just do research.
So step
online.
1, research. Yeah. That's the first step. Yeah.
The first step. Okay, just look for how many competitors you have.
Right.
What names they are using. What are their strategies, and what is your name? What is innovative about your name?
Correct.
Okay, so you have to see those things and then involve an expert.
Right.
Take the advice. They'll guide you through the entire process. They'll sit with you. They'll talk you through the entire thing. So basically, this is how you start.
Right.
So they will help you determine the class and the type of IP you want to get registered. So all those things, I say, you can take an advice of an expert on this.
So, any challenges that's along the way that I should be aware of, which could come up?
Yes, there are a lot of challenges in that. See, the very first thing is the legal documentation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of documentation which has to be done before starting the process. Apart from that, cost is also a challenge. And then finally, when you are into the process, there could many things which can come up during that course. There might come the objection from the existing IP holders.
Wow, okay.
Or you may face a rejection from the trademark office itself. So these things can come up.
Okay, that's an interesting angle that I did not know about. It's like existing IP owners. So there is a possibility that somebody is owning an IP and you're trying to buy off that IP from that person. Is that?
See, that is another thing. If you are trying to buy the existing IP, but if you are registering your IP and you are unaware that already this is registered, then at a certain point when you are in the course of that IP holder will definitely comes to you,
right?
And they will object it. And there is one more thing I would say, that when you are registering this, always double check the things. See, this is very common mistakes which has been done. If there is any problem in the accuracy of filing that, it can be very minor, just like the wrong class,
right,
or the spelling even, something like that. So that can, just all the process will fall down. So accuracy, double checking, all those things.
So does the onus of doing that fall on the business owner, or is that what the agency would do it in-house?
Agency would do it for you.
Should do it,
course,
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because I suck at admin and double checking. That's the last thing I want is things
So
goofing up?
what happens generally, what agencies and experts do, they at each and every step ask you to check and take your consent. Okay, this is what we are going forward with. So there you have to be vigilant with them.
So quick one, because one of the things, like I'm now starting my operations in India. I'm setting up a company in India. So does the process change domestically or internationally? Does it, so like, for example, if I'm based out of UAE, can I buy the same IP rights in India? How does it change being a domestic and international process?
Okay, see, the first thing is that anywhere you can register your IP right. Anywhere you are operating here in UAE and you want to register your IP rights in India, that can be done, or
Right.
vice versa,
Right.
any part of the world. But the thing is, yes, the things which changes during this time is the costing, of course, and the documentation. There are some additional documentation which is required if you are going out of your jurisdiction. And again, some foreign authorities are also involved when you are registering internationally.
Yeah. Good. So I think one of the big key aspects, of course, the question that comes to my mind as a small business owner is that what is the ROI for me? Like, is it worth investing? At what stage of my business should I say that, okay, this is something that you must have as a business owner? Right?
Okay. See, so there are different approaches to that. All right. There are some startups who comes with this idea that we'll register our brand first and then we will hit the market.
Right.
This is the best course of action, I must say. Because this shows how much you are serious about your business and how credible
enough.
you are.
Fair enough.
So once the market sees you, the clients and the customers in the market, they sees you that you are coming with a registered IP, it means that they also have trust on you that, okay, you are here for the long run.
Absolutely.
Okay, so again, I would say that these are different approaches how entrepreneur is taking these things and how he understands the importance of that. So there are a few of them, as I said, since they are startup and before hitting the market, they are doing the registration. And I know the people who are into the market from 10 to 15 years, they are operating. And then at certain point, when they face some infringement,
Right.
at that point, then they realize that, okay, this is the high time we'll do. But there is a risk. Maybe anyone else has registered the same IP before you, and your goodwill is at stake. So at any point it can be registered, but I always say you should do it initially because the goodwill is at the stake.
So I am in touch with you, so I know exactly you're a friend of mine, so I can just call you up. So people who are listening into the podcast, so how does somebody get in touch with you if they have further questions or doubts or clarifications?
Okay, see, so I'm always up to give you advice and your answers and clear your doubts. So you can always DM me on my Insta handle of my podcast, or you can search me up on the LinkedIn, Maruk Kazmi.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Maruk. I mean, it's really opened my eyes, and I'm going to be brand ambassador to tell people to
It would be
do
lovely,
IP.
later. Thank you so much. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay connected, stay savvy, and let those ideas flow.